Hi guys, welcome back to another board game unboxing right here on the Emporium. So, after last month's Warcry video, we continue the trend of doing Games Workshop products, not intentionally, just the way the schedule falls. And this one was a Christmas gift. I want to unbox it on the channel before playing it, obviously. And this is Warhammer Underworlds, the 2-player starter set, the ultimate competitive miniatures game. So this little product here, it's now in about its 6th starter box. And it's a little bit of a hybrid. It's a hybrid between a miniatures game and a board game. What's nice is the layout is simple. You have 2 war bands, 2 sort of like teams, if you like. Both are provided here. Each has their strengths and their weaknesses, and you're battling over boards to go for like objectives, to kill your opponents, models and stuff like that. So you're looking basically for like victory points. You have like each model can sort of move a couple of squares and has so many attacks and that type of thing. So I say you get victory points for that. You might need to like land on so many objectives, get victory points for that. You also get like your own deck of cards, which is unique to that like faction, that warband. And you might have to do certain things. It might say do this, do that, do the other, and you get 2 victory points. Or you can also play cards like upgrade your fighters with like better weapons, better things like that. Or the only other thing with it as well is you have like a profile card for each model, and if you meet certain conditions, you turn that card over and you are inspired. If you're inspired, you've got more attacks, more hits. You get the idea. But what's really unique with this is the game is over 4 rounds and you only get 3 activations per round. So the whole game is over in 12 turns. So where the strategy comes in, if you've got a warband with, say, 6 or 7 pieces in it, you can't move everybody on the same turn. So you're thinking, do I do this, do I do that, do I do the other? You might have a warband like orcs who are just going to go up and smash everything in the face. The undead who are going to maybe hold back, generate more players, more skeletons, push them forward. The Stormcast Eternal who were like Games Workshop sort of glory boys in the Age of Sigmar universe, which this game is basically set in. So that's like a little bit of an idea for you as we open it up there. I mean, straight away, the box is lovely. We've got like a necromancer on the front, and we've got like a little preview of some of the figures there. And on the back, lovely green box as well, by the way, folks. On the back there, it shows us what the game looks like in progress and little bits about our models. So let's don the trusty specs. I'll give you a better intro than what the official one. Okay, so Warhammer Underworlds 2-player starter set. The cursed city of Shadespire has trapped you and your warriors in its ghastly embrace. Now you must battle your way through its haunted streets and find a way to freedom. Warhammer Underworlds is a fast-paced and thrilling arena combat game for 2 players. Assemble your warband, upgrade your fighters, and unleash cunning ploys to lay low your foes and claim victory. So we have 3 Farstrider fighters, that's 1 warband. 7 Sepulchral Guard fighters, that's another warband. 52-page playthrough booklet, 52-page rulebook, 10 fighter cards, 2 double-sided game boards, a rivals deck for the Farstriders, a rivals deck for the Sepulchral Guard, 114 counters and tokens, and 8 Warhammer Underworld dice. Okay, so it just says build your warband. These are push fit miniatures, by the way, folks. Master your deck, so you've got your own deck of tricks, and battle your rivals. Okay, so that is the little bit on the bottom there, and just look at those models there. Okay, so these come unpainted, obviously, and there's going to be stuff in here tell you, go and buy Games Workshop paint, go and do this, go and do that. You do you. Personally, I probably won't be painting these because each warband has its own colour plastic. So it's basically, you know, play the game as a board game. If you are a miniature gamer and like a miniature painter, well, hey, you know, go for it, go for it. Oh, that's not nice. So just opened up straight away and I found a Read This First booklet, and it's like, it's all ripped and chipped. What's that about? And then just open the box. So this one is quite thick. I will go through it in a minute. And then we have the actual rule book itself. So I'm presuming the Read This First guide is going to show us just how we set up our minis, that kind of thing. And then we have our rule book there. Okay, and we have a nice little guide on the back there. I love these game guides. Just keeps you going in the middle of the game. Most of it's a new game for you to actually get used to. I'll go through them in a minute. And then we have our boards. Open these carefully. There we go. Cellophane comes off nicely. So these are hexagonal. So we get, what's this? Let's see. So this, yeah, the double-sided. So that's one side there. And that's the other side there. So each player has one of these. I'll just pop the token out as well. Yeah, so they're identical. 2 sets of player boards. So what you do is you just put your player boards, you put them together, and there are certain rules where different hexes have got to match and that kind of thing. What's nice about this is if you've been playing the game as well, you might have like your own board. So your board will be a totally different setup than what my board is. So we can just use those 2 boards together, put them like side by side or, you know, lengthways or whichever configuration round we like. There are rules. Do it like that and just play. So automatically, this is like one of them games where you could arrange to meet somebody to a gaming cafe or something and just go along and play. You know, really, really good. Like minimal sort of travelling, as in just take a couple of boards, a little pack of figures, dice, and you know, where you're not like looking up to a game store with like a 500 figure case and like scenery and everything. It's just, that's what really gets me. The idea is still being able to stay within the Age of Sigmar universe and just have something so small. I think I mentioned it on a previous video about table footprints. We haven't all got 18-foot tables. Do you know what I mean? So that's nice. So we've got 2 lots of tokens. One which you can see already popped because it just fell out of the box there. And again, these are double-sided, which is nice. Go there carefully. I don't want to pop any more out accidentally. I mean, it's nice like when you get tokens that do sort of pop easily, you know what I mean? There's nothing worse. I had a game, oh god, a couple of months ago, I can't remember for the life of me off the top of my head what it was right now. But I was popping tokens, I ended up actually ripping some of the paper off the token trying to get it out. It was like a craft knife jobby just to rescue it. Not good. Okay, so we have a set of dice. So we have, looks like 5 white and 3 black with various symbols on. So like you'd have like, say to hit, you've got like say a hammer there, so your character might have like a hammer and you might need those hammer symbols to get your hits. The game is basically based on successes, so I draw my figure against your figure, you draw your defense dice, I draw my attack dice, and we'd have to see who had more successes, and then the person with more, that's a success. So like the person with more successes wins the combat. I win the combat, it does straight 2 damage or 1 damage, whatever the weapon does. There's none of this I'm rolling against your defence and power of this compared to defence of that. No, we just roll off. I get more successes than you do. I win a combat. You get more successes than I do. You defend it. Simple as that. Nice, easy mechanic. You don't need anything else. I mean, in the game, I think in other editions and some other warbands, you got like magic and that, which kind of complicates things a bit more. But for a kind of tabletop game you just want to get out for the first time, your mates, you just want to know, you know, you're throwing a couple of dice, this is attack, that's defend, boom, I've got to get there, I need that objective, oh, there's a sneaky player card, I'm going to play on you. That's all you need to know. All you need to know. I'm not downgrading the game any, because I've seen loads and loads of videos, and there's a massive tournament scene with this within the Games Workshop community. Check out the Reddit, stuff like that, for all different, you know, community things and stuff like that, Facebook groups and that. But I like a game that's got a simple premise and, you know, trickier caveats and all that, you know, to get into. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why it does it for me. So we've got 2 packs of cards. Okay, so the Sepulchral Guard Rivals deck and the Farstriders Rivals deck. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to open one of these. Just to give you a rough idea of what the cards look like, and to see them myself as well, to be fair. Let's see. Specs back on. So the Sepulchral Guard are like, it's like a necromancer and some sort of skeletons. So let's see. Right, okay, so we've got the Inevitable Petitioner. Okay, so there's his card. So for every character that you've got on the board, they have like their own card. And it's like a little gold box here that says Inspire. Inspire this fighter when he has 1 or more raise counters. Okay, so he'd do that, have his raise counter, and then you turn him over and he'd become more powerful, like the gold side. So every like warband has this sort of thing. Objective, there you go. A challenge unanswered. Score this in the end phase if there are more enemy fighters out of action than there are friendly fighters out of action. Okay, and to do that, you get 2 points denoted on the bottom there. So you'd have this as your like sort of secret agenda, you know, and you'd be thinking, okay, well, I've got to have more of my guys than his guys there at the end of the round. And then you score that straight away, you get yourself victory points. When you get the victory points, like little gold tokens, and you can spend them to buy your upgrades, and you don't lose them at the end of the game. So it's all about 4 rounds. Me trying to beat you, me going for objectives, me playing these little cards here to get me more points. At the end of the game, doesn't matter who's alive or who's dead. You know, it's the most points wins. Their objectives, that is a gambit. Choose a friendly fighter with 1 or more raise counters. Push that chosen fighter up to 2 hexes. Okay, so you're getting like the idea now where you're playing these cards for fun, just to try and surprise your opponents. Upgrade, Undying. It basically get yourself 1 more wound. Let's have a look. That sounds nasty, doesn't it? Ceaseless attacks. Reaction. Play this after an activation step in which a friendly fighter made 1 or more attack actions. Choose another friendly fighter. The chosen fighter makes 1 attack action. So basically, you move one of your guys, attack, move one of your guys, attack, play this card and move another guy and attack. So you see where it's going. You're just basically building up and up and up, just trying to, you know, outwit and outmaneuver your opponent. So that is like the Sepulchral Guard deck. Same sort of stuff there in the Far Striders deck. And then we have the minis. So in a nice sort of cream plastic, we have the Undead, the Sepulchral Guard. Okay. So for crying out loud, guys, if you get this, please make sure you have a set of clippers. Okay, you don't want to go into these without like clippers. Try to snip them off with scissors isn't the best idea in the world. Trust me, I've seen it done. Not by me, but I've seen it done. It doesn't really end well. And then we have the other one, which is the blue, which is the Far Striders, who are our Stormcast Eternal guys. Okay, I'll give you another little tip as well. While we're on the subject, I don't know if you can see the tiniest little pins. See this here, this cloak. See those tiny little pins there, right? What I tend to do when I do it is I tend to take them off and I just push the models together, because for some reason, I don't know whether it's like the glue expanding or not, it's a pain in the backside. They're supposed to be like push fit for sort of like non-gamers to do, and they don't sort of put that like little disclaimer in the middle there. Sorry, I'm just playing with plastic on the desk while I'm talking. Okay, so keep that in mind for me, folks. So let's have a look at this, read this first book. Okay, so your first game, before you start, there's no tokens fell off. And the contents, it basically it looks like it's going to run, yeah, it does, it runs us through a full game. Now, I really like that, so I'm just going to show you just a couple of pages here, guys. I'm not going to go like all the way through the entire book, but what I do like is it says like round 1, Far Strider's turn. Okay, so what you could actually do, if you weren't feeling that confident, is just literally follow this. This is what I'm doing for my first game. I play a solo game where I play basically both sides, and I'm just going to read through this book, and it tells you where to move, what to do. That's a power step, you know, and then you go on to like somebody else's turn 2, etc. like that, turn 3, turn 4. And we get to, just flicking through now to the end of the book, round 3, end phase, and then says who won, what if, and what next. Okay, so it's basically a step-by-step guide. And do you know what? More companies, credit to Games Workshop for that, more companies should actually do that. They really should. There's a Far Striders primer, which tells you a little bit about the warband that you're playing there. Getting inspired, stagger game plan, what they're all about. And the same for the cool-looking Sepulchral Guard. Okay, so that is the Read Me First book. And then we've got the actual rule book. Again, like I said at the top of the video there, a lovely turn sequence on the back, always helpful. Okay, so we go into the contents of this. Now this is really nice. You have like a little bit of like what we call in gaming terms, fluff. So it basically tells you like a little bit about the background, about Shadespire. Let's see, Underworlds at War, where they show us the actual game and what we're talking about. Muster Your Warband, so it tells us all about collecting miniatures, and there's like a nice little sort of painting guide in there for those of us who are, or in my case who aren't, not challenged with painting. I don't like painting. Okay, then we get some history on the Far Striders and the Sepulchral Guard. Okay, it's always nice because if like these are going to be like the only 2 war bands you ever buy, you ever have, and there are others available separately, by the way. I think there's about 50 of them available at the minute. It just gives you that little bit of background on like, who are these guys, why am I fighting them, why are they going into Shadespire, what are they doing, what are the motivations. A little bit deeper if that's what you want. Okay, building and painting minis. Okay, and the assembly guides, just showing us how we put them all together and stuff. These like really good, to be honest. Like I say, they are supposed to be push fit figures, but please just heed my warning on that. Just be careful. Okay, assembly guide there for the Sepulchral Guard, and also like a little paint guide. The painting guide tells you all the different colours that you might need to have, like say, the skull in this colour, the armour in that colour. They obviously recommend Citadel paints, and Citadel paints are the sub-branch of Games Workshop. They are good, do you know what I mean? But, you know, there's nothing wrong with like Vallejo or other products. I'm not dropping any products, I'm just like off the top of my head what's in my paint box. You know, just make sure you get acrylic paint. That's all I'm saying to you, because it sits well on the plastic. Okay, so playing Warhammer Underworlds, jump into organised play. So it tells us a little bit about the gaming and about the massive tournament scene. How you go about that. It tells us all about our rival decks, deck building, your strategy. So it just tells you how you build those decks up, how you swap cards in and out and stuff. Introduction, aim of the game, standard and advanced rules, all the terminology, and a guide to the tokens, counters and boards. So this is nice and comprehensive. This book first, work your way through. This book next. Okay, before you play, it tells you all about your warbands, explains all the stuff on the fighter cards, because again, you know, I've probably been waffling here, and you're probably thinking, I've never played a war game before, and I fancy this, what's he on about, you know? So it tells you all about that, your decks, your gambit cards, what all your cards do, which is always really, really nice to see. Tells you about the battlefield and the board in general, all different areas. Like there's some places that are marked off like where you can't go, or like they break like line of sight if you're trying to shoot something and you can't see through it, that kind of thing. Playing the game, set up, place the boards, place objectives, draw cards, place fighters. All your rounds. I think it's actually 3 rounds with 4 activations. I think I said the other way around earlier on the video. 3 rounds of the game, 4 activations. Still 12 activations throughout the game before you start getting sneaky stuff in there to get more activations. Okay, place objective tokens, place the fighters. So it's basically give you like a little list and just showing us basically how we go about doing that. And it tells us all about the action phase and the steps in that turn there. Activation step, move actions, what to do with your tokens and your counters. Attack action and line of sight. It tells you line of sight rules, so can you see it? Yes, no. Can you hit it? Yes, no. Combat sequence, when you're going to walk and put an axe in someone's head. And support characters, so if you've got like a character in like a hex square like next to you, they can add extra dice and extra things on you. How you damage your opponent there. And then some special keywords like cleave, ensnare, grievous, scythe and stagger, knockback. These are just little words that are going to be on cards, and you might say, what does that mean? What does grievous mean? I know he's not a general from the Clone Wars, not in this game. Okay, and then some other actions: guard action, stun action, barge action, charge action. So where I said before about it being a simple game to start with and being more complex as we go along, now you can see where I'm going with this. Tells you about your power step, which is basically after you've had your activation step, your action stage, and now you're having your power step. That's like where you can play your cards, upgrade your fighters, call in any of these like little cards you've got and you've done them, like your objectives, stuff like that. Upgrading cards, reactions, all those sort of things like that. Advanced rules and reactions, and the end phase. So it tells us how you go about finishing the game off at the end of each round and all that. Okay, and it says play on rounds 2 and 3, victory and the next steps. So next steps one's nice. It says new warbands, rival decks and core sets. Okay, so that is the page I was talking about there. So it basically tells you where to go from there. You know, Do you like the game, but like you're not really that fussed on your particular warband? The like undead aren't for you. Maybe you might want like orcs or whatever. So it tells you how you go about that. Goblins, etc. Universal rival decks. You can buy different decks to be able to use for your particular warband. So your own warband has its own deck, but you can also use like different decks to chop and change and play in a different way. So say if you had like say a magic heavy warband, I was going to say army then, a magic heavy warband, and you wanted to be more bashy, then you go for that. Just little ways to swap things around. Other core sets that you can buy, and then there is a glossary which is nice of all the different words, what they all mean, different keywords, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, a little bit of graphic on the back there, and that all important turn guide. So that is Warhammer Underworlds 2-player starter set. I'll say I've got really high hopes for this. I'm not a tournament player, I'm about as competitive as that wall over there. I enjoy games with a couple of beverages, good company, and something we can play for the evening. That's what I think this is. But if you've got that in you, my gaming partner Ali, he's like a massive tournament player, so he's got that mindset as well, where he wants to min-max things, he wants to get the very, very best out of it he can. So I'd suggest that this would be a 2-player starter set there for you to pick up casually and just play, which is what I'm going to do. Or for the folks in the world like Ali, who are your tournament players, you've got a massive scene, go knock yourselves out there. Okay guys, so I really hope I've done enough background while I've been unboxing to give you like a little bit of an idea about this. Questions and comments below. Do us a favour as well folks, hit that subscribe button will you. I don't normally do this at the end of videos or whatever, but like I want the channel to grow. Okay, because this is like a sister channel. I've got my own channel, Nick Terrell. Go and check me out over there where I do like retro gaming, and I also co-host Dante's Box of Horrors, a horror channel. So I'm trying to get the channel to grow a little bit. So please consider doing that if you've enjoyed the content today. If not, hit a like. Just help me with that algorithm there, the YouTube algorithm. Go back, watch a few more videos. More important than all of that, comments below. Let me know what you think, okay? That's been me. That's been Underworlds. I'll see you for the next one.